guidelines. What do you like to say?
See, everybody is talking about having app-based taxi in Goa, right? And we as women, we face a lot of problem. So that is why we got these women from different fields, different age groups today to voice their feelings as to why we actually need an app-based taxi in Goa. Because when every state, every union territory can have it, why not us?
Okay, so madam, there is 2 apps in Goa already. So, what do you like to say on that? What is your feedback on that?
No, see, they are there, definitely, they are helpful as well, but I think what we need is a bigger network. Because, Goa is spread across south, north, everywhere, Vasco, Ponda. So we need a bigger network because our population is also increasing. Like I said, even now women are going to work in all shifts. There is hospitality, there is tourism. So we need a bigger network so that everybody has a cab available on their fingertips.
Madam, you might be used that Goa Miles or that Goa Taxi app.
Yes.
You had used. How would be your rating for this app?
They're quite good. Only thing is sometimes it's very difficult to find because at times probably because they are lesser in number, so it's very difficult to find them many times. So that is the only challenge that we are facing. It's not just available every time we want to book at any time of the day, Like my daughter, if she goes to some friend's place in the night and she wants to come back, we have to go and pick her up because it's not available at that time. So I think it's just the quantity. If we increase the volumes, perhaps it could be good. And the aggregator could be anybody. It's not just, we are not talking about any app like Ola, Uber. It could be a Goan app also. But the taxi volume should be very high so that we can get a taxi whenever we want.
Okay. What is now the feedback of this, all the members who are present?
They all want... They are happy that they got to a platform to speak and give their feedback and give that feeling to the government that yes, as women also we really are facing challenges in Goa. We are facing problems in Goa, be it any age group. Like somebody mentioned, a 84-year-old going to meet her 86-year-old sister. If there was a taxi, perhaps she could just go. They are all dependent, whether it's our children, whether it's our parents, our grandparents, everybody is dependent on us, women who are the few who drive. And those who don't drive, they are even more dependent. They are dependent on others. So it's, a big challenge in every way for us. Like somebody mentioned, she's an official driver all the time.
Madam, why taxi? You don't prefer taxis because of rates problem?
Because of pricing, definitely because of pricing. Like today, if I go from Panjim to Mopa, I pay 2,000 rupees, which I'm sure would be much less if I have an app-based taxi.
But it is given by the government only.
Government gazette.
Yes, but how many of them really follow it? Do they really follow it? And plus, I'm sure when the prices will also come down when we have app-based taxis. And I'm sure even the drivers, with the guidelines which Kirti was talking about, even it would be a win-win situation for the people, population, and the taxi drivers and the aggregators, for everybody if they get into this platform. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
See, we are starting with cabs, and slowly perhaps they would onboard auto rickshaws and even the bikes on it. Yes, definitely. Let us start. Let us just take the first step. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Kirti. So, like especially now in Goa, they have also allowed us. So many private universities are coming to Goa. So it's not, I think, just time that we do it. It's the right time that we must do this, because when every state can do it, why should we be left behind? And this initiative will not just help us women grow, it will create jobs, it will boost tourism, and of course it will modernize the way Goa moves and thinks, right? So let us get independent. Let us not be left behind. Let us have a state where transportation is not just a struggle, but a smooth ride into the future. Yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you media, thank you press for being here today. Thank you all you women, you all spoke so well. Each one of you highlighted a different outlook altogether. So I'm so thankful that we are here, and we just make, on behalf of Women's Wing and all the women of Goa,
we want to be heard, we have a voice, and we want an app-based taxi maybe soon enough, and we shall definitely celebrate it as well. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you.
App-based taxis anytime. It makes life so simple. Well, I love to drive, but do I have to drive? I keep traveling all over Goa to our different Taj properties. I work for Taj. That drive to South Goa to Benauli kills me. Don't you think in those 45 minutes up, 45 minutes down, I could have cleared all my mails, made some important calls? While I'm at it, don't you think I should be able to book a cab ride for my mother-in-law who's 84 to visit her sister who's 86 and spend a day together without me bothering about, oh, it's been too long that they have not met. So, app-based taxis, please, we are waiting. Thank you.
As a fresh graduate finishing my masters, the struggles I have, there are job opportunities out there, networking opportunities out there, none of which I can go to. Because I first call mom, oh she's busy. Then I call dad, oh he's busy. Then I start looking out to friends. Okay, is someone going to drop all of their work to come and make sure I get a job? Leave their job so that I get one. And that's just not as reliable or sustainable in the long run. And I feel like, as a lot of women here have spoken about today, being dependent on other things, and I feel like we as women first and humans of course second as well, need to take the opportunity and need to take the control back into our hands so that we can determine our opportunities, our livelihoods, not determined by any other external factors, but our own skill set, competencies and life.
There I dosta, as she has said. And in Goa we have a nightlife culture and weekend culture, and sometimes we do joy over joy. So that time we really searched, like, we can't mix 2D. So that time I miss this thing. Yeah.
With all these digitized apps, whether it is your 10-minute delivery or whether it is taxis, you always see a more flourishing network of drivers and delivery people across major areas like Panjim, Margao, Vasco. So they are confined and they are just going around there. I would really appreciate if the government can actually come up with some, again I'm speaking for the taxi cars, because the only way this will become successful is if the taxi people see some value in it. It's as simple as that. So for the areas, like for example a friend here just mentioned, when she has to go to Benauli, or when somebody has to go for a project to South Goa, when you have to go to Ponda, or for that matter when you have to go to Sakli or somewhere. The point is that if you are on an aggregator app, if you're a taxi driver that is registered to be on an aggregator app, you have to ensure that those taxis are available everywhere. Which is otherwise half the purpose of the entire thing is defeated. What is the point of installing a local Goa Miles or any other app if for 40 minutes it is just circling, searching for a ride and nothing is available? So that deep penetration of the taxi network is something that we are really hoping for.
Right, correct. That is why we have, Abhishek, we have tried to make these guidelines as comprehensive as possible. These guidelines, these aggregator guidelines do not only cover the licensing procedures that these Goa Transport Aggregator Guidelines of 2025, they have been notified on 20th of May 2025. We are inviting objections at this moment to these guidelines. I want to take you through the proper structure that we have followed in these guidelines. These guidelines start from providing a process of licensing to the aggregators. Now, the aggregators, after receiving the license, they have to onboard, they have to commence their business operations within 6 months, so that there's a timeline set for all of you. I know, I understand that you have been waiting for app-based taxis for a long while, and that is why we have set up a timeline under these guidelines, because we want to ensure that the aggregators who receive license from the Goan government, they commence business within 6 months from receiving the license. Now, these guidelines do not only govern the aggregators, they also ensure employment opportunities to the Goan population, not just Goan population, female Goan population in particular. So in these guidelines, we have ensured that the aggregators follow certain conditions, right? So the aggregators cannot in any way bar women drivers or bar any drivers to onboard with other aggregators. So they have options available for themselves to create their own employment opportunities, to govern their own conditions of employment. These guidelines also ensure that the drivers who are onboarded with the aggregators get health insurance. Specifically, female drivers get health insurance not just for themselves but their family. These guidelines also ensure that there's a regulation of fare and tariff. Now, aggregators have to ensure that the owners get their fares as early as possible. In case they do not get the particular fare for each journey, they can raise a dispute, they can raise a complaint. The aggregators have to ensure that they get the amount that they are entitled to within 72 hours. Now, this is to ensure that the drivers are not left without any recourse after each journey. They get their due payment within time. There are other incentives also which are provided to the drivers and female drivers who want in form of vehicle purchase subsidy, so that the drivers, female drivers particularly, have a support from the government in purchasing their own vehicle, getting on board with the aggregators. Again, there is waiver provided to the aggregators for renewal of license fee, so that these aggregators are on their own. They understand that they will be getting an incentive if they hire more female drivers, right? They will get 100% waiver of renewal fee if the 20% of their fleet is female drivers. Apart from this, there is also an angle of safety of consumers. We want to ensure that the aggregators and all the vehicles that they are onboarding display the driver's license and the vehicle permit on the vehicle. Additionally, we are also ensuring that the identity of the driver is same as that shown on your apps. Now, these guidelines we have tried to make it as comprehensive as possible, not just for the consumers but also for the drivers, female drivers who are going to be onboarded with the aggregators, providing incentives to all of them, providing incentives to the aggregator to hire more female drivers. And yeah, it's a great step. I feel I have heard all of your concerns. I am sure if you have any objections or suggestions to these guidelines, you can even address that within a period of 30 days from the notification of these guidelines. These guidelines were notified on 20th of May, and I'm sure the Director of Transport would love to hear all of your suggestions. Thank you.
So do we have any...
The Goan women, the local Goan women should get equal opportunities, right? So these guidelines work twofold. They do not only ensure that you get drivers wherever you want, but also that the drivers, the local Goan population who want to work as drivers, they will be. Yes, correct.
Also, really, and this is something I already put in as a recommendation, that we do two things. Little more education around digital literacy, because that's how this will be more accessible. And also not just like, creating safe spaces for women workers, right? Because you're entering a very male-dominated field, so there should be trainings, a little bit more community awareness around it, so that people, I feel safe. I feel very great when I see a woman driver, but I think little more, for lack of a better word, PR around it, to be like, these women belong in all spaces. So really, how can we create awareness amongst communities and passengers and everybody that this is a space that's okay for women to also work in, because India is not necessarily okay with women in all spheres of work. So I think it's something that we need to keep in mind when we're enforcing this.
Correct. So because the government is giving a choice to the taxi drivers, they have a choice whether to join the aggregator